Having worked at a bank for over 5 years, I found a lot of similarities between people's financial struggles and overall spending habits. So today, I wanted to share some of the common money habits that may be holding you back, not multiplying by 12. I've shared this statistic many times on this channel, but I believe it's very important for us to always remember, and that's that the average American spends $18,000 a year on non-essential purchases. And in my opinion, these are purchases that don't really provide value to us, are impulsive, and are typically cheap items that we kind of lose track of, and so we continuously keep buying them. Let's take like a Netflix subscription, for example. Let's say that it's $10. Well, the likelihood that you keep it throughout the duration of the year is pretty high. So it's not $10 you're spending $120 because you're going to get hit with that every single month. And that's definitely going to be something that you lose track of. Say you drink a bottle of wine a week. I don't know what that costs, but let's just say $10. If you're drinking one a week, well, that's $40 a week or $40 a month. And if you multiply that by 12, well, you're actually spending $480 just on wine. So when you compare that to the Netflix subscription, those two things in themselves is, you're getting kind of close to $1,000. And so what I always try to consciously make sure that I'm doing is I think, is this something that I'm going to continuously do? Is this something that's going to just be the beginning of me spending money? And I need to multiply it by 12 so I can see the actual price that I'm going to pay. The grass might not be greener, but the cabbage is. When I started working at the bank, I was 18 years old. I had just graduated high school. And by the time I became a banker at 21, I was 20 years younger than the next youngest person in my position at my branch. And a really interesting thing is the individual that was right above my position, I was 20 days younger than his eldest daughter, and he started working at that bank when I was born. Now, the reason that I mention this is because towards the tail end of my experience at that branch before I quit to do YouTube videos was that I found out he was making just about $1.50, $2 more than I was an hour. Studies show that if you quit your job every 2 or so years, you're actually getting a 10 to 20% increase in your salary. If you stay, if you're eligible for a promotion or for a pay raise, typically that's going to be 2 to 3%. And I'm very hesitant because I believe that it's important to have some sort of loyalty in life. But unfortunately, what a lot of corporations are showing us is that they have absolutely no loyalty when it comes to us as workers. Snap of the fingers, they will fire you without letting you know anything whatsoever. So I think that this is beginning to have to be a shift on our perspective of, I don't need to be loyal to a company that isn't going to truly take care of me and isn't going to benefit me in the long run, especially if with expenses rising as much as they are, I can just leave and go to another company and just like that be making 20% more and sometimes even higher than that, especially if they give you welcoming bonuses. Comparing the amount of conversations that I've had with people that were so frustrated where they were financially because they were comparing themselves to their coworker, a friend, someone in high school, all of these different things, not realizing actually how good they were doing. And I think in a lot of ways, money, since it's so numerical, is so easy to tie it to something or to someone else because it also provides a representation of identity. Let me explain that. So money, you can say, I have $200,000 in my savings account. Well, that is very easy to be able to compare to someone that might have 300,000. But money also buys you a Mercedes. Well, I'm driving a Mercedes, but my friend or my neighbor is driving a 2024 Mercedes. So he must be doing better than I am. And the more that we compare, the more that we keep up with the Joneses, the more that we do all of these things outside oneself, you will never be able to use money as the tool that it can be, which is it can provide opportunities to provide value in your life. But if you're trying to use it to provide value to you by comparing it to someone else's life or all of the different ways that it can get manipulated, you're never going to feel fulfilled. You're always going to be chasing. And I believe as soon as you start chasing with money, it's such a damaging place to be because it's very hard to get out of, and it costs so much more money in the pursuit to achieve something that you can't be because you're not them, you're you. You already have what it is that you want. I think that in a lot of ways, it's great to be able to look up to other people or to learn from other people's experiences. So I don't want to say it's not good to learn from other people, but to compare. That is, you'll never be able to enjoy where it is that you are if you're always comparing. Scarcity mindset. When we look at things in life that have true value, they cannot be recreated. We can never create more gold. So gold is scarce. If you want to look at it in a grander scheme of things, the person that you love the most can never just be created again. They are them. They are unique. That's what makes them so special. They are scarce. Money is not that. In 1 year, we printed 80% of the US dollar in circulation. That means that it's not scarce. By the click of a button, we can print more of it. We can modify it in whatever way it is that we want. The reason that we feel like money is so scarce is, one, in almost every single aspect in the way in which we live, money is the placeholder for that. It's what allows us to be able to move in that direction. Money allows me to be able to go lay in my bed at night and sleep in my apartment because of money. But more importantly, to be able to achieve money, you have to give up your time. And that is extremely scarce. You only have a limited amount of time, and we don't know when it's going to end. So for money to be able to grant most of us, or for time to be able to grant most of us money, well, that creates a lot of emotion because now that feels scarce. In reality, what we're doing is we're putting a fear or a worry or a concern about our own life and the way in which we're spending our time, and we're putting it onto money. And we cannot do that. I cannot stress it enough that we cannot tie our emotions onto money because that's going to be a dangerous place to be. And this doesn't mean that you can just go out and spend all of your money because if you think about it hard enough, money's just going to come. You do have to work for it. There does take some sort of sacrifice, effort, work, something to be able to achieve money. But you don't want to have your fear or your scarcity mindset of money to hold you back so much that now you can't invest or you can't do things that you want to do because you're so scared you won't be able to have enough. Or the worst of them all, you're always in pursuit of more money because you're scared you won't have enough, and then you never get to enjoy it. And to just summarize this, when it comes to money, what you may have noticed is that a lot of this doesn't have to do with specifically money itself, or even necessarily the items in which we buy. A lot of it has to do with what it is that we're doing within. If we feel like we're not confident and we're scared and we are judging ourselves and we can't stand ourselves and all these different things, that's going to reflect in the way in which you have your finances. I find that the more that we focus on ourselves, we kind of really figure out what is enough in our life. Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? Where do I want to be in 15 years? And kind of gauge off of that. But you have to find, what do you want? Don't be doing things for other people. Don't be sprinting to the finish line to hit all these achievements so you can show, hey, everyone, I have all of these things. Oh, I'm actually the exact same person, and now I don't know what to strive for. That is a very difficult place to be. It's much better to not have the resources, but know the direction you want to be, and now you just have to get the resources. Different game, still difficult, but it's a way in which we can kind of always make sure that we're going down our authentic path. The most important path is our genuine path. But to find that, you have to search within. Money is just simply a tool to be able to open the doors for you to be able to pursue that path. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that it provided some sort of value to you. I thank you guys so much as always. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
I want you to buy Mrs. Puff.
Wait!
Don't tell me. You want me to run down to the store and buy Mrs. Puff something she doesn't need, then you want me to run back here so you can say, "Arr, SpongeBob, and you're spending all me money." And then I'll say, "But Mr. Krabs, I'm only doing what you said." Then you'll say, "We're not talking about this or this, we're talking about this."